All right, guys, so we're going to be gluing up the top onto the Grand Symphony. So just a couple of things here. You notice I have come and notched out just here the sides. So you can have a really good look at it right here. I've notched out this area here in the side. You'll see there's a little bit of the stuff right there, the lining that's left, so that'll let the braces fit in there nicely. Same way here. On this side, those braces will fit in there nicely. One of the things I've had to do, I've had to get the neck projection. This is one of those steps you do the neck projection now, and that will help you down the track so much. So let me just talk you through that just quickly. Put this in place here. So what you'll see, now I don't know if you can see the lines that I've drawn here. This is our scale length. Just quickly, I'll show you this. I've got a handy template here. Now this is the your standard Martin scale length of 25.34 inches. Well, they do a couple. They do 25.34 or 25.5, but this is the 25.34 inches. So that works out to be 643.6, or what some people would refer to as 644 millimeters for the scale length. So here I've got from guitartemplates.com. These guys are really great. They have all kinds of templates you can use to build guitars. And this template, it's got it set up for a 12th fret, 14th fret, and then you lay it down, and this shows you the front of the bridge, then it shows you what the scale length is supposed to be, and then this is the front edge of the saddle. That's where the saddle is supposed to sit at. So what you do is you just lay this here, get it on the center line, and once you've got it on the center line with the 14th fret joining here at the body, then you can mark out your scale length location. Once you've marked out your scale length location, then you can take this handy dandy straight edge from Stumac, or you can get another kind of straight edge, but something that's going to give you something very definite. And what we want to do is we want to lay it on the neck here so that there's no gaps, just here, and you can see there's no gaps there. So focus in on this right here real quick, Whitney. So you can see the gap, and what we want to do is we want to close that gap so that straight edge is sitting flush on the top of the guitar. And then what we want to do is we're going to look down here where our scale length is, and you'll see the gap. And right here where that scale length is, I'll tell you the dimensions in millimeters because that's what I use to work, but that's 2.5 millimeters sitting off of the top of the guitar. So 2.5 millimeters there, and so that neck angle is projecting beautifully. So I'm really liking that. And so now that we've got the neck angle ready to go, we've got our scale length marked. The next thing that we need to do, being is we've got our sides notched and everything. We've got our top that's cut to fit. So everything is really good to go. The one thing that we need to do now, though, is we need to seal the top with some shellac on the inside. We need to sign the top, and then we want to seal the inside of the guitar with some shellac as well. So let's do that right now. Now, you'll notice if you look at this top, I've drawn a line. This line that comes right through here, where you'll see right here where I'm showing you with my brush, that line right there is the area that we do not want shellac getting into. If it gets into there, it's not going to glue to the kerfed linings. So what we want to do is we can take some of this shellac and just brush it in like this, we really want to make sure everything gets sealed up nicely. Now, for those that may not know, shellac is a bit of denatured alcohol mixed in with some shell fibers and things like that from beetles. And the shellac is what was traditionally used to finish guitars many years ago, and still is used today by many luthiers. But as you can see, it really begins to darken the wood up. And I'm gonna just paint this in here like that. This is where all those years of my mom telling me color inside the lines came from. That helps out quite a bit right there. All right. And then once you've gotten everything sealed up, then we'll go to the inside. Now, a couple of things that this does, guitar-wise, it helps to preserve the wood, first of all. It also helps to keep the humidity and the temperature from making the wood fluctuate too much. That's always something that you have to take into account when you're dealing with fine instruments like this. And you have to do your best to make sure that you give it every chance to have a nice long life. And so that's why we like to seal it with some shellac. Plus, I personally, I think that it helps with the resonance of the guitar, because those sound waves have a surface to bounce off of that is hard. It's not soft anymore because we've put this shellac on there, and you don't have anything that is impeding the sound waves from vibrating back and forth. All right. So a little bit more of the same here, and so we'll just take a few minutes and get all of this put in place. Now, I did the very first time I ever did a grand symphony, I had a problem, and the problem was that I got the shellac in the wrong place. I actually got it inside this glue line area here, and I forgot about it until after I put the glue on and had started clamping it down. And so I thought, well, we'll see what happens. Well, we did, and as soon as I had taken all the clamps off, and then I went to flush trim the edge so that everything was looking really nice and tidy. As soon as I did that, the top popped loose halfway around the rim, and I had to go back in and get some sandpaper and different things like that, come up with a solution that would allow me to sand everything down again, and then squeeze some glue back into the area that it had not been able to glue properly, and then had to go back and re-glue everything. That was not a very fun process. However, I did get to learn some cool things about the lutherie side of the business, where you're doing instrument repairs and things of that nature, because I'm sure as I progress through this, I'll be having more people come to me with instruments and saying, I've got a crack, can you fix that? And so in that sense, I had some good experience there. So I was happy about getting the good experience. Not so happy that the top did not glue as I was hoping that it would. However, that guitar is now in America, and it's being played by our pastor. So yeah, it turned out really good in the end, and it sounds beautiful. It's a nice 12-string grand symphony that I did. Now, notice here, we've got our bridge plate. The bridge plate is always going to be a hardwood piece of timber, and the bridge plate is only about 2.5 mil thick, and the idea is we want a piece of hardwood there that is going to be sturdy enough to handle strings coming in and out of it, as well as adding a bit of strength right here where the bridge goes. Typically, there'll be something like rosewood or maple or something of that sort. But I've decided I was going to experiment with some of the silky oak, because silky oak is, one, it's a hardwood. Two, it's very lightweight. And I just think it's going to allow this top to breathe and to really flex and fluctuate. And so I'm excited, really excited to hear how this guitar is going to sound. One thing I'm learning about working with this sequoia or redwood is that it is very brittle. It is really neat to see how well it lasts, but once it's dried out like this and things, it is extremely brittle, and it's got some incredible tone. So I'm really looking forward to getting some strings on this guitar and seeing the final product come to life. And as soon as I get this done, the last thing that I'll do on the inside here is I'll sign my name to it, because that's how us luthiers do things. We like to sign our names to the instruments that we've made, even when you make instruments for like a big corporation like Taylor or Martin or something like that. Typically they'll have whichever luthier that's there that built the guitar, they will sign their names to it, unless of course it's like a factory built guitar. If it's a factory built, then it just probably gets the inspector, the inspector's initials on it, whoever inspected it the most. So, now don't worry about, I know some of you probably are looking at it going, he's not painting it with the same grain of wood. That's okay. It's the inside of the guitar. You and I will be the only ones to see it, and it's not going to change anything about how it's played or how it sounds. So in this case, we just get it on as best as we can and then go from there. Now, for those of you who haven't seen this before, you'll notice that these X braces are all steepled. Now, some people go, why do you have to have the price for a hand-built guitar? Why is it so expensive? Like, if I can get something, for $500, why would I want to spend a couple thousand on a hand-built guitar? Why would I do that? Well, one of the differences here is that what you're going to find whenever you go from a hand-built guitar to a factory-built guitar is that the braces, even though they may even be, generally speaking, in the same general location, What they've done with the braces is all important, because some of these guys will slap a brace in there and it'll be in the same location as the ones that I've got laying right here. But the problem is they've done absolutely nothing, nothing to refine the braces. And so what they do is they wind up with a huge, chunky guitar that is tight and doesn't want to resonate. And so the end result of that is very, very poor sound. And I've often thought about just seeing what I could do to take one of those factory-built guitars and just see if I can sweeten the sound up until I get it where I'm super happy with it. Well, maybe one of these days I'll do something like that, but for now, I'll have just as much fun building my own guitars and making them incredible. When you're nearly done here, we're about halfway done on this top. And once we're finished with the top, we're going to do the same thing to the back and sides. I don't know if I'll make everybody watch all of that, so what I think what I'll do here is we'll do another video, and you can come along and watch that one as well. And then we'll skip along here in just a moment to doing the same thing on the back and the sides. And then once we've done that, we'll go to gluing. One last thing here. You'll notice, I don't know if you, well, I don't know if you can notice, I'll just tell you. The shellac dries very, very quickly. Like right now, I can go back and touch all of the stuff that I've already done, and it's dry already. I could go for a second coat on it if I wanted to. So it dries very, very quickly because it has the denatured alcohol in it, and that the alcohol in there dries super, super quick. Okay. And so because it dries so quickly, that means I can turn right around, throw another layer on there if I wanted to, and just keep going. Don't have to stop and wait for things to dry. So that's a really good benefit and bonus of that. So one of the reasons why it's used so often. Trying to use up all the extra that I had in here.